evening, everybody. Big E and Mike once again, breaking down the week that was. First thing we want to talk about is Lucha Underground this week. This week on Lucha, the opening match was the Darewolf PJ Corbin
the Lone Dare
PJ Corbin in a really high octane match against Jack Evans. What did you think about this match?
I thought it was a great match overall, and Jack Evans putting in some great heel work in the announcement.
Absolutely, at the beginning?
Yeah, so much heat from that.
For sure. And when you're a guy like Jack who works the way that he does and gets as much heat that he doesn't have to win, in my personal opinion.
No, he doesn't.
He just needs to have really good matches.
Yeah, and build heat, which he does very easily.
Absolutely. The next match of the night, like we were talking about earlier, it was King Cuerno in another high-octane match against Killshot. And what was your takeaway from this one?
I mean, I guess I didn't have too much to necessarily take away, but it was an excellent match, and I'm looking forward to seeing more matches from King Cuerno for sure. Well, and Killshot, but he's definitely been a great Gift of the Gods champion so far.
Absolutely. And we've seen now that Cuerno's going to be facing off against Phoenix next week.
Defending that.
Yes, even though it's not fair, but Katrina doesn't make anything fair in La Templo.
No.
And the vibe I got from this match was that Killshot is slowly but surely getting positioned to become one of Lucha Underground's top stars. But
oh yeah,
now that
I could see that.
Well, absolutely. Now that they have been assigned a whole nother season and their future is assured, they have the luxury of being able to plan long term. And Killshot is somebody who I think could become one of their company's top stars because of his really unique presentation and execution of ring.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't really know that I can compare him easily to anybody.
No.
And that is a common thread amongst Lucha Underground stars. They're not trying to copy anyone at all. It's all, for the most part, quite unique.
Mm-hmm.
What was the next match tonight?
Next match of the night, that was... That was the main event, wasn't
Of course.
it? Oh yeah, it was Johnny Mundo versus Cage, the Machine.
And he was a machine in this match, pulling out all of his machine moves. Johnny sailing his ass off. At the beginning of this match, who did you think was going to win?
Honestly, Cage, because even when Johnny Mundo caught him off guard, Cage still kicked his ass. So
yeah, exactly.
It didn't really look too good for Johnny Mundo. But then he called in the assist.
Yes, and the assist was the introduction of Lucha Underground's newest star, Taya Valkyrie.
From our fair city.
From our fair city, indeed. And it made me very, very happy and proud to see her standing tall and looking great in the ring alongside Johnny.
Oh yeah.
And I think that she fits in perfectly with Lucha's kind of wild and crazy aesthetic.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see, just more from her, because we only saw that little bit. Yep. I can't wait until she actually has a match and stuff like that.
For sure. You can bet that once Sexy Star escapes from Marty the Moth's clutches, she's going to be in a feud with Taya.
Yeah, I can see that.
It only seems natural.
Mm-hmm.
So that was basically it for Lucha Underground this week, which leads us to the NXT show. And this past week on NXT, we were treated to several high-quality matches. It was an excellent NXT episode, I thought, to be perfectly honest. Let's work from the beginning. First of all, it was American Alpha versus the Blake and Lexa Murphy faction. Two teams who right now are, aside from Cass and Enzo, the top tag teams of NXT, positioned to become potential next tag team champions. And Blake, Alexa, Murphy Factor, definitely former tag team champions and always look strong and they always sell their asses off and they always do a good job putting over other talents. And American Alpha, well...
yeah, just... Gable! Gable!
The first 10 minutes of this match were just Gable, Gable, Gable.
Yeah. A little Jordan. Just a little pinch. A pinch of Jordan.
Just a pinch of Jordan. And the fans gave Jordan a really strong response, which is great. Jordan is a tremendous worker, but this dynamic of their team, the way it is right now, I don't think they need to change anything.
No, I don't think they do either.
I don't know if you remember, but there was also that spot later in the night where we saw Cass and Enzo, or not Cass and Enzo, just Enzo get attacked in the parking lot.
Oh yeah, they've been doing a lot more of that stuff lately, like just the parking lot and like behind the scenes stuff.
Attitude. Well, yeah, and NXT's vignettes are presented in a totally unique way. Like that wasn't the same the way they presented the Dean Ambrose getting knocked out by Raw.
It was more of like a security cam footage
For sure.
type deal.
Absolutely. And the way this is going, the TakeOver show before WrestleMania, we know it's going to be a really, really big show for NXT, the biggest ever probably, but with the introduction of their hot new star. Who do you think is going to be facing off against Dash and Dawson for those tag titles?
Oh man, it's really a toss-up between, I mean, I guess Cass and Enzo and Jordan and Gable, because I don't really see any other tag teams at the moment who I think stand out as like they're definitely going to be champions. Well, at least, for the foreseeable future, because I'm sure in time they'll all get there, hopefully.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And remember that Ciampa and Gargano can always reform and become a top tag team. Because, like we talked about earlier on the show, I think that was the tag team match of the year for WWE last year. So, being that they were able to put that kind of match on with Gable and Jordan, those two guys could become tag team stars at any time. But the way both of those guys are being used now in NXT, I think is just right. Which leads into the next match of the night. It was Ciampa against an exiting Bull Dempsey. It was a match that was full of comedy spots.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. But in the end, it was actually a legitimately good wrestling match as well, and both guys looked really good.
Farewell, Bull.
Yeah, best of luck to you, Bull. Wherever you may go, you'll missed. Next of the night, we had Apollo Crews facing off against someone we've never seen on NXT before, a gentleman named Christopher. And Christopher actually looked really good.
Yeah, he did.
I think we'll be seeing more of him.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, it especially says something when he looks good, against or in the ring with someone like Apollo Crews too. I feel like to some degree it would be kind of hard to outshine someone like that.
That's true, but
as a new person.
Yeah,
anyways.
yeah, I think so. I think you're right. But when it comes to looking good in the ring, as I understand it, it's really a matter of not only yourself, but how good your opponent is willing to make you look.
Yeah, definitely.
And Apollo, he makes everybody look good.
Yeah.
Like, despite the fact he's this really huge, strong, tough guy, he never really has squash matches. No. All of his matches are competitive.
Yeah.
Which just goes to show you what kind of unselfish performer he is. He wants to make the match as exciting as possible at the expense of making himself necessarily look tougher. Whether that's in his best interest or not, I don't know, Mark, I'm not a wrestling expert.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily in his best interest, but I feel like it's in the fans' best interest, because, I mean, I'd rather have a decent match than just 3 squash matches.
Well said.
Yeah.
And the main event. Let's talk about the main event a little bit. Take us through the action.
So it was Carmella and Bayley versus Nia Jax and Eva Marie, and I think for the most part they both got in a decent amount of offense, didn't they?
Carmella and Bayley? Yes.
Or you're both teams in general, I mean.
Well, Eva's offense is a question.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but they were in the ring equal amount. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, she tried to equal the offense, but
Eva,
please.
Yeah, Eva, please. If you're watching, we know you're trying to get heat, but at least make it look believable. That's the wrong kind of heat. I know it's easy to get heat from being bad.
Yeah.
But no one's gonna put you in the Hall of Fame one day from that kind of heat.
Yeah, I think Baron Corbin's already learned this lesson.
Yes. I don't think Baron ever deliberately tried.
No.
Or maybe he did, I don't know. But
well, yeah, maybe. Screw you guys, I'm gonna wrestle a really shit match tonight.
He wouldn't be the only one. That happens all the time. But this was not a shit match.
No, it wasn't.
And I think that was thanks entirely to the 3 other women in the match.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, we saw a finish that I found highly amusing. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I thought it was good too. Like the distraction and then the double leg drop and finish.
For sure.
I mean, it definitely builds heat for them. So, I mean,
yep.
That's always good.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you just said. And further to that, where does this leave the NXT Women's Division? This is a match that, in my opinion, didn't further any storylines whatsoever.
No, it didn't.
It felt like a house show match.
Yeah, I felt like it basically the extent of the, story furthering was basically just, we want revenge because you beat us last week.
Pretty much.
Deal.
Pretty much. The only other thing on the show was the NXT Tag Team Champion having a meeting with William Regal.
Mhm.
What were they talking about?
Just that Finn Balor is going to have a match with Neville next week. A ladder match for the NXT Championship. And you know that's going to be good.
Well, the last time the NXT Champion was in a ladder match, it was against KO in New York City at the NXT TakeOver Brooklyn show.
Ooh.
Do you remember that?
No, I might not have been watching NXT yet at that time.
I think you're right. That was, in my opinion, probably the title defense of the year for WWE, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
It was very, very stiff, and it was the last time we saw Kevin Owens in NXT, right?
Who knows? Maybe this will top that.
It just might. I think it's a safe bet that Neville's probably almost certainly going to get stomped from the top of the ladder.
Yeah, probably.
But what if he hits a red arrow from the top of the ladder?
See, this is why they booked that match, because of those possibilities.
Tantalizing.
I wonder if it'll come close to topping that TLC match, or the ladders match from TLC at
the TLC baby?
Yeah.
Now that's a really, really good point. It could, potentially, but the fact is when you have a multi-person match
versus a singles match, yeah.
it's hard to compare.
Mm-hmm.
But
Definitely.
it certainly could, because Neville and Balor are two world-class athletes, and they put on tremendous matches every time they're in the together.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it for NXT.
Pretty much. Just gotta wait for next week for the new talent.
Now that's juicy. And that ain't just rumbling, that's a fact.
Yeah. And that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so.
That's why if you listen to the episode, it was the camera's audio, just because I couldn't, it fucked it up.
Yeah, but I actually didn't notice that, so.
Yeah, it sounded quite good.
Yeah.
The acoustics of Brody's room is dope.
Mm-hmm. Although I guess it would kind of have to be, because it's like a movie room type deal.
That makes sense, I heard a rumor today, which turned out to be substantiated. The rumor was that none other than Linda McMahon was on the shopping channel.
Why?
She was promoting the fact that she is going to be on camera for WrestleMania 32.
Oh?
So what does that mean? Does it mean the whole McMahon family are going to be in some sort of angle? Is Linda going to go out of the ring with her son, maybe? What's going to happen?
Who knows, maybe Undertaker's just gonna kill Shane and all we're gonna see is Linda McMahon weeping or something.
Just kayfabe kill him?
Yeah.
Shane gets hung from the,
Oh my
cage.
God. Attitude.
Bring it back. Yeah, and then the next night on Raw, Undertaker just brings him back.
Yeah. He just brings him up out of a coffin.
I think you're onto something.
Heel Shane?
Undead Shane?
Oh my God, Undead Shane.
No, he's good and nice Undead Shane. He's babyface Undead Shane. The children love Undead stuff. You can't. I mean, look at Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Who treats that guy seriously like a heel? He's too cool and silly to be a heel.
Too much neckbeard.
Yeah. Like, who's the last legit scary character in WWE aside from Taker and Kane? The Boogeyman? I mean, maybe if you're like 4 years old.
Maybe.
Oh, those athlete guys like slobbering shit all over me. Damn.
Anyway, last night on Raw, it was The Undertaker in the ring with the boss Vince McMahon, and The Undertaker, after spending hours getting down to the ring, he eventually got there.
Yeah.
And when he got there, he wrapped his giant mitt around the boss's neck and he held him up and he said, "Your son's blood will be on your hands, not mine." And then at the end, Vince called Undertaker an unnatural force of nature, and he called his son an ungrateful son of a bitch. In one fell swoop, he invalidated the Undertaker and called his wife a bitch.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why she was on the shopping channel. I mean, if he's gonna call her a bitch and then she's gonna show up on the shopping channel, I mean, they're building an angle.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Who knows? Stephanie McMahon was also on the program last night talking about how her brother didn't mention her girls at all, which was true. And I believe we talked about this. The fact that we've heard so much about Triple H and Stephanie's kids, how interested they are in the business.
Does that mean we're gonna eventually, if they get into the business, see an angle between them?
Absolutely.
Oh my god.
Because here's the thing. Shane has all boys, and Stephanie has all girls.
Oh.
It's a pre-written angle.
Yeah.
And then, like, all of Stephanie's girls are basically going to be, like, female Triple H's.
They're all going to come out with sledgehammers.
And water bottles, and they all have the long hair. Can you picture it?
Does that mean we're going to get a wrestler with, like, a techno remix of Triple H's theme?
Why not?
Bound to bound, time to play that bound to bound.
You know, it stands to reason, doesn't it? That's the trend.
I mean, they did it with Charlotte and Curtis Axel, so...
You're absolutely right. So yes, we will. It's going to be like a trance, not even a trance. It's going to be dubstep remix of the game from Motorhead.
Yeah.
And here's another thought I had. Since he has 3 daughters, they can each have a name that starts with H.
Holy shit.
Vince, here comes the money.
Here comes the money. Money talks.
But in all seriousness.
Also, the crowd was talking last night, and they definitely wanted a triple threat match after that Divas match.
You're right. The second thing we saw on the program last night was Sasha Banks facing Becky Lynch in a really, really good match, where they both got a ton of great offense in, and I was really excited and totally engrossed in the match.
And shades of last week's NXT, they both pinned each other at the same time. So it resulted in a double count out.
That's right. And then Charlotte and her dad stood up and got in their faces, and that's, like Biggie mentioned, that's when the crowd got behind them and they called for a triple threat match.
Just relentless triple threat chants.
And I think we both agree that is what's best for business.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to be shocked if that's not what happens.
That reminds me, didn't Vince last night kind of take shots at the audience about where he was like, "Where's my pop?" Basically, remember? He's
oh
like,
yeah.
What? That's it?
Yeah, I remember that.
I think what the boss was referring to was the fact that his top babyface got an enormous pop at the beginning of the night. The lunatic Dean Ambrose walked out and got right up in the face of the game Triple H to open the show last night, and he stood tall, looked fierce, and didn't for a second seem out of place.
I think, it could have been part of the reason for the pop, but Triple H was spitting some fire at the audience himself.
He was. Was it on SmackDown he was quoting Rolling Stones?
Yeah.
Right? And then this week he kind of kept going with the same theme, kind of like...
Yeah, it was just like I'm an authority, you all have authority figures because you're worthless, just, lemmings and stuff like that.
Yeah, classic heel stuff.
Yeah. Usual authority heel figure type stuff.
So Vince was the usual authority heel figure.
Mm-hmm.
The H was a usual authority heel figure.
Yeah, but they all did it really, really well, I thought.
But not as well as the Queen.
No, the Queen, the Queen, me!
The princess looking like $1 billion last night.
Yeah.
Cutting an amazing promo. Her brother nowhere to be found.
No.
He laid out and just let her have the moment.
Yeah.
He'll be back on Raw next week.
Oh, you better believe it.
Yeah, well, we had Taker. Well, it's just Shane, then Taker, then Shane. Maybe on the last Raw before WrestleMania, maybe we'll have them both together.
Yeah,
maybe.
most likely.
Possibly. But regardless, Shane's going to be back next week. Do you think he's going to have a match before Mania?
That's tough to say. They could just throw him in some sort of match to make him look better, but I don't know if they necessarily need to. So I could see them also not doing that.
That's a really good point. No, they don't necessarily need to. I agree with you there. What they do need to do is come up with some sort of solution for a unforeseen Roman Reigns conundrum, which has come up. Earlier today, as I had mentioned, I got a little news for you. Mike Johnson from Pro Wrestling Insider broke the news that apparently Roman actually did really truly have to undergo nasal surgery last week.
Oh, wow.
So the blood capsule being blood capsule, whatever, but his nose is actually hurt.
Damn.
And he actually is going to miss some actual time.
Wow.
So Roman, of all people, is now injured.
Does that mean he's going to miss me? Maybe. Dean!
Which is why Dean Ambrose has now been positioned to face the game Triple H on this newly announced network special, Roadblock.
Yes.
With Roman Reigns nowhere to be found and Seth Rollins, you know, rehabbing as hard as he can and doing all the push-ups and crunches. All the CrossFit his body can endure to get back in the game.
He pretty much has, hasn't he? Because wasn't he in like a CrossFit competition recently or something?
He signed up.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not for another like 6 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So he's kind of, I guess, maybe anticipating?
Yeah.
That or he's swerving us.
Maybe, but I hope not.
Seth Rollins becomes the World Heavyweight CrossFit Champion. He's just like, cashes in Money in the Bank on CrossFit. Some guy's doing cleans and jerks, and like at the final, he comes with the briefcase. He's like, I'm doing cleans and jerks! He just takes the bar out of his hands and starts doing reps. Does way more reps than them. Becomes world champion.
Or maybe
Me!
Maybe he could run up and throw the briefcase at the dude's head.
Guy's got the bar right here. Briefcase to the head. We miss you, Seth. God, we miss you so much. Come back strong. And Roman, you too. Come back strong. Hopefully it's back in time for Mania, just because it puts WWE in a really awkward position not having Roman now.
Yeah.
Golly, I mean, what's left? I mean, Vince gets injured? I mean, God forbid.
My neck!
No, he's fine. He just needs some eye drops.
Oh, God.
Also on the program last night, we saw, and not very particularly noteworthy match between Lucha Dragon and the League of Nations. We saw Miz really quickly pin Dolph Ziggler and Schoolboy and come away with a victory. We saw the Social Outcasts featuring Adam Rose in a match against Ryback, where the big guy looked really fierce.
Mm-hmm.
More fierce than I've really ever seen him.
He's looking more and more fierce, and I wouldn't say he's necessarily like full heel yet, but he's going there, and it's a good direction for him, I think.
Is he going full heel, or is he just...
Well, I don't think he's going full heel, but he's going more...
He's going full Goldberg.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I don't really see, too many differences.
He doesn't get the fireworks yet.
Well, obviously, because he's not as over.
No,
but...
or the police escort.
No.
If they add that stuff, then he's
the ungodly streak.
Yeah, the streak. Well, the streak we can do, because he's on like he's on a 2-in-a-row streak.
Mm-hmm.
Ryback only ever loses to guys like, top stars.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who's not a top star, he beats, seemingly.
Pretty much.
Do you like this particular Ryback more than friendly, sell the merchandise, the big guy, feed me more?
Well, I feel like right now...
Because like Dean, he's not afraid of marketing.
Yeah. Right now, I like him more, but I wonder if I didn't like him as much before just because of the booking, but I don't think that is it, because I feel like the Feed Me More and all that just kind of got stale after a while.
It did.
And honestly, I feel like New Day is getting a little stale to some degree. Like, I almost want them to drop their titles just so we can hopefully see something new from them.
That, partner, is the perfect segue, because that's the next match on the card. It was Y2AJ, which is apparently a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing, guys. Believe us. Don't worry.
It's not a thing. Vince is watching. Vince talks to me. Chris is booking matches every week. He's just making things, even though we desperately don't want them to be things.
No.
But New Day looked good, but they put Y2J and AJ over, and now they're going to be facing Y2J and AJ in a tag team match next week on Raw for the world title. Titles, I should say.
You know what I would like to see as a thing? Maybe a Shinsuke AJ. Yes!
Shinsuke AJ, I don't think they can do that. Because that is...
not yet.
Well, no, simply because that is so OP that nothing can stop that.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, what kind of team do you put together to face Shinsuke AJ? Redacted in The Rock? Like, seriously.
The Rock and Stone Cold.
Yes, The Rock and Stone Cold is the only team that can stop Shinsuke AJ. But, like, that team is so good it makes my head spin.
Mm-hmm.
Yo. That being said, do you think Y2J and AJ are going to go over and become the tag team champs next week? Because you got to think about what's gonna be that tag team match at Mania. I think what you say is true, that New Day is seemingly losing steam, and they're going to drop those titles eventually.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of whether they're going to drop them at Mania, or they're going to drop them sometime maybe a little bit after Mania, maybe a little bit before.
Yeah, it's hard to say at this point, because the Y2AJ thing has only been going on for, a couple nights now.
Yeah.
They could always, they could fall apart and have their differences, and, AJ could just beat the dog shit out of Chris Jericho.
Styles Clash!
Yeah. Or, they could go and take the titles, hold those titles for a while, drop them to New Day, and then fall apart, and then AJ Styles goes his own way type thing. Maybe comes for world title or something like that.
That's good too.
Yeah.
Both those outcomes are good.
Or maybe something completely different could happen. For a while there, I was pretty ready for the Lucha Dragons to be tag champs. Like, I don't think they're bad. They've just haven't been booked that great since Sin Cara came back.
You're right. And side by side, I think we can both agree Jericho and AJ are more suitable tag team champs than Lucha Dragons.
Yeah.
They're more credible.
Yeah, for sure.
Even League of Nations is more credible in my honest personal opinion.
Yeah.
Which, talking about League of Nations, what are their prospects going forward? We know that Barrett's going to be gone after Mania. Are they all going to be split up and doing other things then? Are they going to have a 3-person League of Nations?
Maybe KO? Maybe they're going to call on another Commonwealth nation to join their cause.
KO will join League of Nations, and League of Nations will finally feud with the Wyatt family.
Yes.
That's what's best for business.
And then we'll finally have Bray versus KO.
Finally! Finally, for goodness sakes.
Vince, listen. Put your ear to the ground.
Because we're finally at the last match of the night, which was Dean Ambrose facing off against Alberto. And Alberto hit Dean with a stupid stomp on the outside. It was fantastic.
Dean, you can let go. It'll take less effort. You won't have to work your core as hard to hold yourself up, and then you can not get stomped. That's like.
He's a lunatic, dog. What are you trying to explain to him? He's nuts.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
This is the guy who got up and begged for more after he got laid out by Lesnar several times the same day.
He also bitch slapped Brock Lesnar too.
Mm-hmm. You notice how, Ambrose gets murdered by Lesnar and he comes back in a stolen ambulance, and Roman gets hit in a table a bunch of times by Triple H and he's gone for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
That sounds a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. Maybe it's just because Dean's such a lunatic that the pain doesn't affect him.
You know what they say about madness?
I mean, I guess that's pretty much what they've been getting at. So.
That's true. And what we're getting at is WrestleMania, and you know what they say about madness? The difference between madness and genius is measured only by success. And Dean is on the verge of great success right now. Depending on what happens at this upcoming Roadblock show, he could end up becoming the main event attraction of this year's Mania. Barring that, I have to say WWE is in a jam right now with no Roman.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like the very end of Star Wars: A New Hope, where like the Death Star is positioned on Yavin, and it's like they're just gonna go press the switch. Okay, planet's getting destroyed now. See you guys. That's kind of how I feel right now. I need someone or something to make that covering shot so we can blow this thing and go home.
It's in the middle of the boo.
Yeah, it's exactly in that part.
They're pulling the switches and
stand by.
Yeah.
Stand by.
You turned off your targeting computer. What's wrong?
Nothing. I'm all right. And I think we're all right to take this episode home, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add before we go? Take it.
No. Can't think of anything else. Just looking forward to Mania and looking forward to see what happens. Hopefully Roman's back, but I mean, honestly, the thought of a main event between our, well, not necessarily main event, but a title match between Dean Ambrose and Brock Lesnar for the world title is just...
A no-holds-barred street fight.
Oh my god. Oh, it's gonna be so good. But then who knows what the H will be up to.
Only time will tell.
Yeah.
And only time will tell what happens tomorrow night on NXT. I'm really excited to see the outcome of that ladder match. And the introduction of Shinsuke Nakamura.
Shinsuke!
The king of strong style.
Bye for now.